Hey girl, today I'm going to be showing you how to create wispy volume sets that your clients will love. So let's go ahead and we're just going to do a step by step. Literally, I'm going to take you through step by step of how I create my wispy volume lash magic. So before my clients come in, always make sure you have some gum on hand, girl. We're very close to our client's face, so always make sure your breath smells good, okay, girl? And then also make sure to wash your hands before your client comes in. I always wash my hands before each client comes in, and I also go in and have some smell good hand sanitizer as well, just because I could be touching stuff around in my room. So always make sure to have hand sanitizer and wash your hands. And drink your water, girl. I know coffee is cute, smoothies, teas are all cute to have, but drink your water, okay? It will keep you hydrated and it'll help you feel good throughout the day. Spray your room down, make sure it smells good. And then my nail tech gave me these cute little cuticle oil things, and she was like, clean up your cuticles before you post and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, cute, let me do that. So I went in with my cuticle oil, just rubbed it around my nails. I love these nails, they're super cute and super fun. How do y'all like my nails? I'm always changing my nails, and I love it because as I work with the lashes, my nails change, and so I think it's just super fun. A lot of people ask me, how in the world do you lash with those long nails? But just to be honest, I can't lash without them. I feel like super weird when I don't have nails on. So I went in, made sure, and also too, because your hands are always so dry from washing them constantly as a lash artist, even if, I mean, as a beauty girl, make sure that you lotion and do all that because you don't want your like dry hands while you're lashing your client. Okay, and today for our lashes, we're going to be using the cashmere lashes from Tea Dance Lashes. I really love these lashes. I've been using Tea Dance for quite a while. A lot of girls always ask me what are like my favorite go-tos on Amazon. I love Tea Dance, I love VI's, and I love Baba Lash. So if you are Amazon girly and you want to buy some products from there, definitely recommend trying those brands, okay? So before we start our set, always make sure that you go in and you lash bath and you clean up your client's lashes, okay? Especially for full sets and fills. So my client today is actually doing it technically is a full set, but she still had lashes on. So whenever she comes in, she still has some extensions on. So I just go in and I cleanse the lashes first, and then we will go in and we will remove any of those outgrown extensions. But always make sure that you are lash bathing your clients, okay? If you're not lash bathing your clients, you can notice that the lashes aren't lasting, your retention isn't as good. If your clients are always complaining about their lashes falling out really fast, maybe you should prep with a lash bath, or you could also end the full set with a lash bath as well too. I just posted a video on this the other day and it went really viral on TikTok. And on my Instagram and on YouTube actually. Yeah, so YouTube, I posted doing a lash bath on my client after I completed her full set, and it like blew up on there because a lot of people are like, wait, what? That's weird. You shouldn't do that. But yes, lash bathing your clients after you do a full set will not only make the lash extensions last longer, but they'll also have like a really fresh sensation after getting the lash extensions done. So let me know if you lash bath before or do you lash bath after or do you do both, okay? Everyone's different. So for my client, going in and just lash bathing her real quick, making sure that the natural lashes are clean and any extensions that are going to fall out and not going to last, you're going to see that while you're lash bathing, okay? So while you lash bath your client, you can always go in and you will see some of the extensions fall out. That's completely okay. That just means they were ready to shed and less work for you because sometimes having to go in and actually remove the old extensions can be a little bit challenging depending on how your client's natural lashes sit. For my client that's here right now, removing her lashes isn't really that hard, but there are some clients who come in and those outgrown lashes, like they're already outgrown. You think it would be a simple, quick banana peel method to remove those, but they actually can be a little bit harder sometimes, especially if they're like really stuck on there. Like I've experienced that. I'm not sure if you've experienced that where you're going and trying to remove some of those old extensions and they're like stuck on there. So let me know if that's a problem that you've experienced. I know I have experienced that, and it has been a pain. It has been a real pain. So whenever you're lash bathing your clients, girl, always make sure that you keep your towel close to the edge of her eye. Don't ever let that water run like all over her face or down towards her ear. It's really uncomfortable for your client. So make sure that when you are cleansing the lashes, that you are cleansing really neat and clean, and you're not letting like that foam run all over her, or the foam from the lash bath or the water. Make sure you're not letting that sit like all over their face, because, or just get in their eye, get all over the face. It'll feel really weird, and your client will feel like, ugh, like, I don't know about you, but I don't like getting water in my ears, or even like running down my face. It's like tears. It's like the first thing you want to do is just like wipe them. So make sure when you are cleansing your client that you are doing it gracefully, and that you are not getting cleanser soap and water all over her face or in her ears, okay? After we lash bath, we are going to take our fan and we are going to dry her out for a minute. I do like to dry out for a minute before I start brushing. Always make sure that you dry her out well before you brush the lashes. And if you don't know that, make sure that you do that. Always make sure to dry the lashes before you brush them, because if you brush wet lash extensions, you can actually pull on the natural lashes, and you can pull on those extensions, and it's not a pleasant feeling. If you know the sensation of picking a lash out and like the natural lash coming out with it too, and it kind of just pulling, that's the sensation that you will give as well if you are brushing wet lashes. So always make sure to dry out your lashes before you brush them. Okay, now for our tutorial today, we are going to be doing a wispy volume set, and like I said, I'm going to just walk you through step by step on how I do my wispy volume sets. These sets they're so beautiful. So many of my clients love them, and your clients will pay a pretty penny for these sets. So I'm just going to do, like I said, a walkthrough step by step, and as we get into the actual application, we will talk about some Q&A. I'll answer some questions that I have been having here lately, just in lash education, lash extension world. And yeah, we will enjoy our time together today, okay? So after you brush out and do your lash bath, we are going to go in with our iPads. Remember, with your iPads, always make sure that they are not super close up on that water line, because when your client closes her eyes, they're gonna sit up a little bit more. So always make sure to, especially with my client today, I always place them down a little bit further, because her natural lashes are really short on the bottom and they tend to pop out. So I'm going to let my lash tape do the work for me, okay? I'm not going to really, in which the iPads really are not for, the iPads are really not to cover the bottom lashes. The iPads are really there to help you see your work clearer, and also more comfort for your client, instead of just taping. There are some clients who have to do like just tape. They don't do the iPads because they've had allergic reactions to them. But whenever I put just tape down and no iPads, the tape is really tacky, and sometimes it pulls on my client's skin, and it also pulls on their lashes. So that's what the iPads are there for. It's to give you a space that's easier to work in, and also that way you don't pull on your client's bottom natural lashes. But do make sure that whenever you are placing your iPads and tape, that you are getting 100% coverage of those bottom lashes. I've said this before in my videos. It is the worst thing ever to have to unpluck lash extensions from your client's bottom lash line because they got stuck, and simply because you didn't take the time to make sure that all those natural lashes were down. So if your client has a lot of natural lashes on her top layer and bottom, always make sure that the tape is covering complete coverage of those bottom lashes. That way you can lash comfortably and confidently, and don't have to worry about having to unplug lash extensions from that bottom lash line on your client, because it will hurt, okay? Remember, we're working with someone's eyes, girl. Eyes are very sensitive, and so please make sure that when you are doing any type of tape removal, iPad removal, lash extension removal, that you are being graceful and you are being very patient about it, and not just pulling on your client's lashes, pulling on her eyes, and causing her to have like get teary-eyed really quickly. Okay, so my client today, we are going to be doing a wispy volume cat eye on her. So we're going to go ahead and start with our mapping. Now, for my client, the mapping that we are going to do is we are going to start off with 10s in her inner corner. Then we're going to work our way up to 11s. And this isn't a dramatic cat eye. It's just a subtle cat eye. I'm not using as many links as I should be. It's honestly just doing 10s, 11s, 12s, and 13s, and then back down to 12s on the outer corner. Now for my client, I usually go all the way to 14 and 15s, but I was out of 14 and 15s in my D-curl lashes, so we had to make it work. Okay, so this is literally the mapping that I did for her: 10, 11, 12s, 13s, and back down to 12s. So I don't know why I said cat eye. I honestly should have just said regular mapping with Wispy. So remember, for our Wispies, we're always going to go 2 sizes up to make them stand out. Actually, I did 3 sizes up to make them stand out. I did 2 to 3 sizes up to make them stand out. And also for my Wispies, I used CC curl for the spikes. And then for her volume, I did D curl. So if you want that like super strip lash look, like you want the spikes to stand out, I always recommend doing a different curl than whatever base volume you're doing, because it will make them stand out more. So especially with D curl, because I used to try to do like D curl spikes and D curl volume, and it was like I always had to go up like 4 sizes on the spikes just for it to even be good, because it seemed like the spikes would hide with the D curl. So I trust me, try doing a different curl for the spikes and a different base on your volume, and you will love the looks. Okay, now for my adhesive, I'm using the Stacy Lash adhesive. And this one is also, you can find this on Amazon as well, or you can go to the Stacy Lash website. Now, I'm not a sponsor for any of these brands. I just wanted to share with y'all what type of brands I was using. Because I used to be like really big on like, oh my God, like if I show everyone what I'm using, they're gonna use exactly what I'm using. And it's like, duh. That's what us lash girls want. We want to see what are the other lash girls using. That way I could use the same products, because if she's had success with them and they work for her, then I know I can try those same products and probably have success, and they'll work for me as well too. So for our adhesive today, we're going to be using the Stacy Lash adhesive. And then for our volume, we're going to be using the T-Dance. I already have my volume on my palette. I did have a little bit of VI lashes left on there, but those were size 15s, and I wasn't going to use them because I was already out of them. So yeah. And then for my tweezers, I am using my own brand, which is High Maintenance Lashes. I do like to order my own tweezers from Tweezer Supplier and just get my logo on them, because what you pay for tweezers, anywhere else, like 75 plus bucks. So it's like you might as well go in and create your own brand and have your own tweezers. That's just how I like using my tweezers. But if you have your other tweezers that you like using, go ahead and use those. For today's set, I always use my curved tweezers to isolate, and then I use my 90-degree tweezers to place my volume for my application, to place my volume down and place my spikes down. Okay, so we're going to go in and we're going to start removing some of those outgrown lashes. Now, sometimes not all of the lashes are outgrown. Sometimes some of the lashes are just wonky and sitting twisted or crazy. So if you see any of that going on in her lash line, then make sure to remove all of those as well too. Okay, now whenever you are removing the lash extensions, like I said, I would recommend using banana peel method, and that's the only method I use. So what I look for whenever I'm removing the extensions is I look for outgrown lashes that are barely hanging on. And then what I also will look for is, like I said, those wonky lash extensions that are kind of sitting weird. They're twisting, they're turning. And so pretty much kind of how you check for stickies at the end of your work, this is what you're going to do before you start a full set as well. If you're doing a refill, obviously if my client came in with no lash extensions today, we would just start off with the full set, but she already had lash extensions on. So the same way you check for stickies is the same way you're going to check for outgrown lash extensions when your client comes in for that refill. Okay, so literally go one by one and just brush through the lashes and see which ones are sitting well, see which ones need to be removed, and just do that. Okay, now this is why we tell our clients to come in with at least 40 to 50% of their lash extensions still intact, because when our clients come in, there's a good chance that we're going to be removing about 15% to 20%, sometimes even 25% of those extensions. So your client may come in and be like, oh, my lashes look really good and they did really good, and I think I just need a fill. But there could be times where you remove extensions and then afterwards you're looking at her coverage and you're like, yeah, girl, this probably is a full set. Or if you have so how I do my services is I have a touch up option for a quick fill touch up. It's 30 minutes. And then I have an hour long fill, which is a standard 2-3 week fill should take you about an hour long to do. And then I also have an extended fill or an ultra fill, which is if my clients are waiting 3 or 4 weeks before coming to get that lash fill and they waited a little bit longer, then they could book that 3-4 week fill. It's about an hour 15, hour 20, and it costs a little bit more, but that gives me a little bit more time to give full coverage. So if my client does come in and she needs a little bit more of that coverage, I will always give her the option and tell her, girl, you are looking a little bit more bare. Would you like to do your fill today? Or would you like that extended fill? Always make sure and ask your clients first. And here's our lash graveyard of the pretty lashes that didn't last. Okay, we're going to toss those out. Always make sure to throw away those extensions. Don't ever reapply your extensions that you removed. Okay, don't ever do that. That's not hygienic. Okay, so first we're going to go in with our CC curl and we are going to be placing our spikes down. Okay, so my client loves a dramatic wispy look and she really does like it extra wispy. So I'm going to go in first and place down all of my spikes first. Okay, so and always make sure that you're placing your spikes down on that top natural lash layer. If you place your spikes down in the middle or in the bottom, sometimes they can get lost throughout your set and it won't look as good as if you were to place those spikes on the top lash layer. Now again, I'm using CC curl for my spikes because they stand out more because I have D curl on the bottom as her volume. Okay, so I'm going to go in and place my spikes down first and then we will fill in with our volume. So when you're creating your spikes, if you want to wet them with your bonder or wet them with your primer and then apply them, that's completely okay. How I do my spikes is I just pick it up from the top of the volume lash the way you would a classic lash, and I dip in that lash into the glue as if I was classic lashing, but it's a spike. And the reason why I do that is because we want our spikes to last. Whenever I first started doing wispy looks, my clients would come in all the time and be like, girl, my spikes are not lasting. I don't know what it is, but they're just like, the spikes are always the first thing to go on my full set. They're like, and I really like them, so I wish they would last longer. Excuse me. I didn't have no water this morning, and I'm over here hiccuping. They're like, I want my spikes to last. So, and that's what I was like realizing, what am I doing wrong? When I was placing my spikes, I was actually kind of applying them like a volume lash and I wasn't putting enough adhesive on them. So they were falling out very, very quickly. That is one thing that I see a lot of new lash artists doing, girl, is placing those, is not using enough adhesive on your clients. And you're also using too much. So you're either using too much or you're using too little of lash adhesive. And it's important to make sure that you learn how much is good and how much is too much. That way you know exactly how much adhesive you should be using. Okay, so please make sure that you are using enough glue whenever it comes to your application. All right, now in other news today, in the lash world, okay, so I know I have not been keeping up with my YouTubes the way I should, and if I'm being honest with you, girl, life has been lifing, and I'm not sure if that's been you as well. If it has been you and life's been lifing for you too, please let me know. That way we can be life sisters, and we can talk about that. Like, life has been really, really crazy. Okay, so right here I'm going to show you how I pick up my spikes and how I apply. So go and pick up my volume. Like I said, pick it up like you would a classic lash, because we're going to dip all of that into our adhesive, and then when you run that across your glue, you want to make sure that it really closes up. Okay, and one way you can close up that spike too is, you see how I grabbed it at the tip of my tweezers and I did not allow that fan to open? Yes, you're going to close that spike with your tweezers, and that's how you get a closed spike. And let that glue run all the way up that lash. That way it really closes that spike. Okay, but in other news, oh my gosh, okay, so the journey has been crazy, girl. If you have been watching, I opened up a lash school about a year ago. I've had it for about a year and a half. And within that time, it's been crazy. So not only did they wreck my wall last year and I had to move into a completely new suite, I actually had to work from home for a couple of weeks, and that was not really as fun as I thought it was going to be, which I have lashed from my house a couple of times, but it just honestly, it put me in a different mindset. And I was really like, oh my gosh, should I be even doing this? What am I doing? Is this a sign from God? They took out my wall. Like, I don't really know what direction I'm going. And so these past couple of months, I can honestly be candid with you and tell you, like, girl, I've just been like, I'm so over the school. I'm so over having the lash school and doing the license. And it's so crazy because I thought it was going to be something that I genuinely loved, and I thought it was really going to bring me a lot of joy. And it hasn't. It's brought me headaches, and it's just hasn't given me the outcome that I thought it was going to give me. So if that's you, and maybe this is you in your lash business right now, and you're like, oh my gosh, is this what I really want? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Girl, let me tell you, yes, keep going, but also it's important for you to know that when something's not working for you, it could be working on you. And that's one thing that I'm learning. So now we're going to go in with our volume and fill our client in because I put my spikes down. After you put your spikes down and you give her full coverage, then we're going to just fill in with volume. So wispy volume is really fun because it's literally like place your spikes. I feel like spikes always take the most time because you're making sure that they're sitting right, and then you're also making sure that you placed them right, and you're also making sure that you placed enough spikes. But after you place your spikes down, which usually I feel like takes the longest, filling in with volume should be easy breezy. Turn on your jams and make your volume fans and fill her in. Now with my client, she likes a dramatic volume, so that's why you're going to be seeing me make some regular volume fans, some mega volume fans, and a little bit of narrow fans, but that's just to give her that dense look because other than that, she likes a full look. Okay, so when something is not working for you, remember that it could be working on you. So obviously, I did not give up my school, I still have it, but as far as the lash education world, I'm turning my focus back to online education. And whenever I was doing the school, I wasn't making as many videos like this because I wasn't really working online. I was doing a lot of in-person, hands-on. And that's great. I love doing that and I love helping girls and working one-on-one. But honestly, I have helped so many girls online not only learn their lash skills, but build out their whole business and literally set it up, and I've helped them do all of that online from the computer. And my girls that have worked with me online through my 12-week mentorship, which I've talked about on here quite a bit, and if that is you, girl, if you're like, well, I would love you, I love your work, I would love to work with you, but I'm not in the area or I don't live in Texas. Okay, girl, I have my online mentorship, and that's exactly what I'm redirecting my energy back towards because I just love it. It fills me up, and the students that I've worked with online have brought me so much joy and pleasure versus the school and being in person. So, yeah, that's where I'm at right now. And so that's why I'm really focusing back on my YouTubes and going back to my online education because it was way more fun than it was doing the school in person. And I'm really shocked that I'm saying this because girl, I thought I wanted the school so bad, and the reason why, and this too, girl, when it comes to business, especially in beauty, please make sure that you are doing things that feel good to you, and you're not just doing something because someone else judged you or someone else told you you couldn't do that thing. Because I kid you not, I feel like me doing the school, I was chasing this like mountaintop, so to say, and I got to the top of that mountain, and when I got there, it just was like, "Ugh, this is it." Like, I climbed so hard for this, and yeah, it honestly wasn't as fun as I thought. And this is why the school system, this is why like the beauty schooling is so, it's just whack. It just sucks, to be honest with you. It just really sucks. Like, and the reason why a lot of girls don't have success after is because a lot of girls think that the school equals success in their beauty business, and that's not at all. Like, school is just a license. Like, that's all it is. That's all you're going for. If you're doing beauty school stuff, it's literally just for a license. That's about it. So yeah, it just did not let me up the way I thought it was going to. And that's where my energy has been actually at, is like with the school and trying to get my students passed and through and finished. And it just was such a long process. And I did not enjoy it the way I thought I was going to. So um yeah, learning to walk away from things is can be a little hard, especially like in the beauty industry where we all have a lot of opportunity and a lot of options that come our way sometimes, and sometimes it's just hard to walk away from things. And that's really where I was at. I just like I said, I have not walked away from the school. I'm not completely done with it yet, but as far as me pushing it and trying to get girls to come and get their lash license, it just has not been like exactly what I thought it was going to be. And I'm really surprised because, like I said, I really thought it was something I was going to be very passionate about. And no, I enjoy teaching more online. I enjoy making these videos for you guys. I enjoy more of doing what I love. And I've spent so much time trying to chase something. And that's why I said, like, make sure that you're doing it for you. Make sure that it really is for you. Because if you're trying to prove someone wrong, or if you're trying to, just make a point, that's what I feel like I did. I was trying to make a point because when I first started teaching lash extensions, I was just doing regular classes and um regular 1 day trainings, and I had so many people kind of like backlash me for it because they were like, you're not licensing and you're training girls who aren't licensed and you're wrong, and you should be a licensed school, and just all these things. And so I finally became the licensed school. I finally gave in to what they told me, the standards of what I should be doing and what I should be having as this lash educator. And it sucked, and I shouldn't have listened to them, because I really chased this license just so that way I could prove to them that, like, no, I'm worthy, and I know I'm right. And sometimes being right is just so exhausting. Like that's one of the things I have to learn, girl, is like I always want to be right, and instead of being right, now I'm learning that, yeah, I may be right about a situation, but that doesn't mean it feels good, and that doesn't even mean I want to be right. I actually am hoping and praying that I'm wrong about certain situations now. So that's where I've been at, girl. My head has been everywhere. I'm not sure if you've been everywhere yourself. I think the energy has just been crazy this past couple of months into this new year, which we're already in the middle of, because we're already in June, girl. Oh my gosh. And it's almost fixing to be Cancer season. My birthday is at the end of this month. But one thing I'm going to be focusing on way more this year is honestly just focusing my energy back on my online courses with my students, because it makes me feel so good. I have so much fun, and my students get really good results, and that's exactly what I'm after. I'm looking for my students to get the best results, and I've just noticed that when I work with my students online and when I find girls who technically aren't in the area that I'm in, I have a lot more success with that, and I feel better working with those students. So that's pretty much where I'm at right now. Let me know where you're at, girl. Where are you at in your journey? What are you up to? What are you doing? I would like to know, because like it's so crazy that sometimes, so like with having the school and kind of feeling lost for a little bit, one thing I did not feel lost about was my lash business and my lash skills. Having the school, like I said, it really took me back into like, why was I doing this? And the reason why I did it was because I love lashes. I love lashing and I love teaching, and that was my main goal. But I'm like, with the school I feel so limited. They were like, you can only work in, your area, which is Lubbock, Texas, and you can only take students that are in the area. Like they literally took off the whole online, full online portion of learning, to where, because it used to be girls from all over Texas could work with me. But then they were like, no, only girls in your area could work. So I just was like, they just kept limiting me and limiting me to how many students I could serve and how many girls I could work with. And I was like, no, this is not for me. This is not going to work for me. So yeah, girl, just know that sometimes we climb mountains, and sometimes when we get there, the view may be nice and we may look around and be like, oh, okay. But there may be times where it's like, this is it. Like I thought it was going to be more. I climbed, I worked really hard, and I just felt like it was going to be more. So let me know where you're at. But like I said, one thing that I understood through even feeling like lost on what I should be doing this year was that the lash extensions, I absolutely love lashing. I love everything about it. And so it's like, no matter what, lashing is always going to be something that has so much meaning and purpose to me, and I can always go back and do. So it made sense, me kind of just I put a lot of energy back into my clients this year than I have so much my education. And my clients, girl, please always remember to take care of your clients, because your clients will be with you until, I mean, they're just going to rock with you. They're going to rock with you. And that's how my clients have been. My clients have been rocking with me for literally 8 years doing all this. And they've been superstars because, like I said, I've been in education, I've been doing trainings. But one thing that I have not lost passion for is the lash extensions. And so if you are a lash artist, maybe just dive in deeper to your craft. That's what I did this year. I just dove in deeper to lashes, and it really paid off for me. It really worked out for me. I've been booked out. I've been busy. I've been creating beautiful lash sets. I have so much content in my phone right now that I need to get done that I haven't really I've been trying to post a lot, but I have so much content because I've been taking so many clients. So, yeah, as far as filling in the rest of our lash set, just make sure that you go in and fill her in good with volume, okay? And make sure to try to lash every single lash that you can. I know there's been, these half sets going around, half sets. You don't have to lash every single natural lash. And yeah, that's cool if you don't want to, or if that's the set your client is requesting, then for sure. But if your client is requesting a volume set, and she wants coverage, make sure to lash all of those natural lashes. Don't be lazy. Don't be like, I feel like when people are like half sets and don't lash all the natural lashes, like that's lazy. Like you shouldn't be lazy like that. Like unless your client is asking for a really simple set and she does not want a lot of coverage, then a half set makes sense, or not lashing every natural lash makes sense. But other than that, girl, you should be lashing every single natural lash, especially if your client is paying you for those lashes to look good, and you're not gonna lash her all the way. Like, don't be doing that, okay? And like I said, there's a difference if a client's coming in for like a classic set and she doesn't want nothing crazy. That's okay. But if your client's coming in and she wants full volume coverage, make sure to give full volume coverage. Now, of course, don't run over your time that you have allotted for your fill, because if your client books a fill and it's an hour, but then you are still trying to give coverage in like an hour and 30 hour plus, that's technically a full set. So make sure that you always communicate with your client like, hey girl, I've lashed you for the full hour, hour 20 that we have. You have pretty good coverage. You still could use a little bit more, but do you want me to go ahead and stop because our fill time is done, or do you want me to give you a little bit more coverage and it'll just be a little bit more of an upcharge? Always make sure and talk with your client, because your client may be like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, just go ahead and fill me in all the way and I'll pay the extra. Or your client may say, oh, you know what? No, it's okay, girl. I only bought enough for that, for the ultra fill, for that 3-4 week fill. So you could just go ahead and, you can just go ahead and finish my set. Okay. So always make sure and talk with your client. Your clients will, they'll tell you exactly what they're wanting. So that way you don't have to guess as an artist, what should I be doing? Okay. So yeah, girl, that's where I've been at. These past couple of months, I've been doing a lot of one-on-one trainings, which has been super fun. And girl, my girls who've been taking those 1-day trainings with me, they have been having like quick success. Like they already have their space set up, they're already taking clients and all the good stuff. So I'm like, oh man. And I have not done in-person trainings in a little bit, honestly, because I was doing the school license, and then before that I had stopped doing in-person trainings, and I'm really not sure why, because doing the in-person trainings has been really, really fun. But like I said, whenever you have, just other people telling you you should do this, you shouldn't do that, it's really like, be the person who makes up your own mind. Like don't let too many people persuade you into doing too many different things. And also listen to your gut. If it feels right to you and it feels good, then go ahead and do it. And if it doesn't, then don't do it, okay? One thing I tell my students all the time is listen to your gut. It knows you better than you know yourself sometimes. And if it's telling you something, then just listen to it, okay? But that's pretty much where I've been at, girl. I've just been lashing like crazy, taking a lot of lash clients, and I've been doing some one day in-person trainings. And now I'm focused back on doing my online mentorship. So girl, if you want to learn lashes, you want to build a brand, and you want to learn how to set up your lash business successfully, let me know. Or you can also check out the description below. I always leave my link So that way you can click on it and so you can find it and you can work with me. You can book a call and we can just talk about you, girl. Talk about where you're at right now, talk about where you want to be, and talk about what it is that you really want with the lash business. And I can definitely help you do all the things lashes. So if you are a lash lover, you've been passionate about lashes, maybe it's been a couple of years and you've been thinking about going on this journey and you just aren't sure where to start, I encourage you to book a call with me. That way, like I said, we can talk about where you are right now. We can talk about where you want to be, and I can let you know if, this is a good fit for you or if maybe, you should do something else. But either way, book a call with me. That way, like if you've ever been confused on, can I do this? Can I build this lash business? Can I, have all these clients and make this lash artist money? Is that it? Can I? Yeah. And that's another thing. Oh my gosh. Like with the school, girl, I charged them so much to get a license and I thought it was going to feel good. And not all money is good money. That's another thing today, like that we're going to talk about. Not all money is good money. Like, oh my gosh, some of it was just so draining and it was so crazy because I thought it was going to be so fun. Oh my gosh. And as you could tell, this is why I haven't talked about it on my YouTube channel, because I've been kind of pressed about it. And I'm like, I don't want to down talk it, but I don't want to say it was good, but I don't want to, yeah, it was definitely a journey for sure. And that's where I've been. And also too, girl, if you're an entrepreneur and you're in the beauty business and you're like, oh my God, when are things gonna pick up for me? Or when am I gonna get better? When am I gonna, just know that things do take time. And I hate hearing that, but this year, girl, I'll be 29. And one thing I have learned is that, is like I said, like some things just really aren't what you think they're going to be. And that's okay. It's okay. It is okay for things to not be exactly what you think they're going to be. And it's okay to walk away and make new decisions, especially if it feels good for you. So, um, yes, so now we're gonna go in and we are gonna take our Stacy Lash Super Bonder. So not only am I using the Stacy Lash adhesive, but I'm also using her Super Bonder. So you don't have to use the bonder that matches with the lash adhesive. That's just my preference. And this actually was a new bonder that I seen on her website. So I just wanted to try it and see how it worked. And it has given me really good results. I've had clients that have their lash extensions have lasted a lot longer than usual. So I like that. So always make sure after you full volume application your client, you brush out, you're going to mirror check her, you're going to dry out her lashes. After you dry out her lashes, then you're going to go back in with the super bonder, and then you're going to place that super bonder at the base where you applied those extensions at, because that's where your glue is sitting. Because that's where your glue is sitting. So go ahead and make sure and apply your bonder really well to her lash line. Also, this is going to be great because it's going to allow your client to wet her lashes up to 4 minutes after application. And it's also going to stop any of those lingering glue fumes from entering the eye or causing any of that redness, irritation from things like a chemical burn or allergic reaction or anything like that. So Super Bonder is your friend. I've been seeing a lot of the videos on Instagram saying like propaganda I'm not falling for, and it's like using Super Bonder, using primer and stuff like that. Like, to each their own. I've used these products and they work great and they work very well for me. So everyone's different though. Also, please remember when you're taking advice from lash artists, from people in the industry, please remember everybody's different. Everybody's different with their products. Everybody's different with their rooms, with their location, where they're living at. So that's all things that you have to take into consideration when shopping for products and trying new things. Everyone's different. I'm in Texas, so the humidity is different where I'm at. My room stays very cold in here, but for other people, they could be working in they could be having like a she shed or something, so it could be a little warmer in their area. So just always make sure that you test products, and that you also do look for recommendations from lash artists who have a good following, have a good clientele list, because if they're recommending products or what they're using and they have a good clientele list, then it probably works very well for them and for their clients. So Thank you for joining in with me today on this tutorial of our Wispy Volume Lash set. It really was nothing crazy. I have gone in depth on other Wispy Volume Lash tutorials, so if you're looking for a little bit more in-depth video, then I recommend you check out some of those tutorials. But other than that, girl, I am back. I'm better. We are going to be going all in on online tutorials and education and things of that nature. So if you want to learn lashes or you want to work with me, you can hit the link below, check out the description below. I will help you out there. And other than that, if you want to see a tutorial in description, or you want to see something, or you're having problems with anything in the industry or anything at all, maybe even personal, let me know. I would love to make a video on it and help you out. And here is our final look for the Wispy Volume set. So gorgeous, so beautiful. I didn't do an after that day, but my client came back, and I forgot to take after pictures that day, but my client was graduating, so she came back and let me do an after video, and these are them. They're so gorgeous. But that is all for our tutorial today. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a comment below, and I will see you next time.